Want to continue our list of 100 good things that a Jew can do. This is number 21, and this is to learn about davening, learn about prayer. And on our list, we recommended reading the introduction, Rabbi Sacks' introduction to the Siddur. So I just want to show, kind of highlight a few areas I think are pretty special in his introduction. So if you want to take a look at page 20, XX, Roman numeral 20, in the Siddur, in the introduction, there's a nice paragraph there where he describes what the Siddur is. Siddur means order. And so he says that it's the third paragraph down, second paragraph. The Siddur as it exists today is the result of some 40 centuries of Jewish history. Yet the result is not mere bricolage, a patchwork of random additions. It is as if the composition of the prayer book has been shaped by an invisible hand. Divine inspiration that transcends the intentions of any particular author. I like this way that he's depicting the Siddur. So the Siddur is a lot of components were entered at different time periods in Jewish history. But what we have before us is basically, he says, it's like the breathing soul. The shape of the prayers reveals the basic shape of the Jewish spirit as it's been molded by its encounters with God. So the Siddur is basically like an expression of different ways we've been interpreting and connecting, experiencing God over the generations. It's already something really beautiful, right? So it's kind of like a witness to our inner work, in our inner spirit. And my rabbi used to say that when I was studying Jewish philosophy, they used to say that the Siddur is a book of Jewish philosophy, because what made it into the Siddur is what we believe. And so there's a lot of philosophy in the Siddur as well that kind of comes from our inner world. That's like one concept I thought was nice. The idea of like it's organized, but it's organized based on our inner world. And it's a reflection of that. And through that, it can be a source of Jewish philosophy. Another really nice like direction that he takes is on page 28, XXV3. And there he speaks about a theme in the Siddur. There's a lot in this introduction, but this is something I think it's really nice. He takes a lot of themes and he shows how they play themselves out in the Siddur. Sometimes there's repetitions of letters, of words. Sometimes there's numbers that define the structure. Here, there's a triad of themes: creation, revelation, and redemption. And it plays itself out in multiple places in the Siddur. When you see it playing itself out in multiple ways, obviously this is something that's important to us as Jewish people. It's part of Jewish philosophy, and it's also part of what we're thinking about, because this is an expression of our neshama. So he brings a few examples of it. He brings a few examples of this triad, because Maimonides' tenets of Jewish faith break into three categories, really: God's existence, God's revelation, and God's redemption. There's 13 principles, but they all break into those three categories. So these three categories play themselves out in multiple places in our Siddur. The first example that he brings is the blessings of the Shema in the morning. The first blessing is about creation, right? It's about Yotzer Or. It's about God's creation. That's God. It's about God's existence. The next prayer is about God's Torah. That's revelation. And the third prayer, right after the Shema, going to Shemona Esrei, is about God's redemption, Gal Yisrael. Like works out like perfectly. Another example is the Shema itself. The Shema itself. The first part is about Shema Yisrael, accepting God's providence, God's existence. The second paragraph is about following the commandments, and the third paragraph is about redemption, is about coming out of Egypt, God redeeming us. So it works out nicely there. He brings two more examples. The third example, he says, is with Shacharit in general. You begin Sukkot Zimra and the blessings of the Shema. That's recognizing God. The Amidah, or the Shema and the Amidah, is kind of living in the presence of God. It's revelation. And then the Uvalit Sion Goel, part of the Aleinu, is God's redemption. One more place where this plays itself out. I'll explain why I think it's important. Why overall this theme is important, which is this is really nice how it works out. So we have three prayers on Shabbos: the night, the morning, and the afternoon. And there's different language in each one. The night says Tachlit Maaseh Shamayim Va'aretz. We make the bracha in the night, in the middle of the three blessings, the middle bracha of the seven of the Amidah. The night it talks about creation. It talks about the 7 days of creation. Tachlit Maaseh Shamayim Va'aretz. That's God's existence. The daytime it says Yismach Moshe b'matnat chelko. That's revelation. And then it says in Mincha, Atah Echad v'Shimcha Echad. When's God going to be one? In the time of the redemption. So there also, with the three blessings that we inserted 3 different times of Shabbat, it hints to these 3 themes. And so this is why I think it's important as an expression of our inner soul, as a Siddur reflection of our inner workings, is that we don't just believe that God is the creator. We don't just believe that what God once gave us the Torah back when. We believe that God is with us and God can redeem us. And that's like the central purpose of davening. God created the world. God is with us. God gave us direction, and God is going to help us and save us. And if you really believe that on a deep level, your davening can be elevated to a higher level.